We've talked mostly about government support so far. Of course, your approach is a multi-stakeholder approach. You've had a lot to say about philanthropy, and I'm wondering how you think philanthropy, what role it is playing right now from the private sector, from the foundation environment, and whether or not that is also evolving to meet the needs.
But I think we have seen the role of philanthropy, big and small, and let's recognize that philanthropy is a very diverse set of actors in all geographies at all scales and levels. But we have seen both traditional philanthropies and new philanthropies really step up increasingly to recognize, the gravity of the challenges we face, their unique role in their respective societies and communities, both with their money and with their voice, and with their ability sometimes to provide a novel platform for innovation and different kinds of solutions. That's something that we at the UN Foundation have tried to be, and you see that with so many philanthropies around the world. Those who came together around COVID, there was a global alliance of philanthropies that came together to support COVID response. You've seen that around the energy transition. You see it around climate in particular. And I think there is a real prospect also around this food and hunger crisis, working very much with other sectors, not just philanthropies, but it's everyone that they can bring to bear and ways that they can contribute meaningfully. I think we see the deficit of trust in so many institutions these days, and that does create the possibility for others to step into that breach and to recognize that we all have different kinds of roles that we can play, and it's important that we play them as ambitiously and fully as possible.
Now, I noticed that the Gates Foundation recently announced that they're moving from $6 billion to $9 billion of allocated funding a year in today's environment. Now, they've been quite notable in the sense that they've said consistently they want to spend all their money. Like, they don't want to create a foundation that's going to live forever. I mean, governments, of course, tend to spend much more than the money that they actually have, though not always on the smartest things. Foundations tend to be much more cautious and conservative. Does that need to change, and is that changing if it does?
Well, I think it's already changing. I mean, it's true that foundations historically have tended to have to be conservative because they want to retain their philanthropic capital so they can use it in a perpetual basis. But what I think you're seeing from quite a lot of philanthropies, and you're seeing it from the business sector as well, is a recognition that we have a window right now. This is a moment in time where the choices we make, the investments we make, have such long-term consequence. And so you're seeing a great freeing up, I think, from certainly a lot of the philanthropies we work with, to want to use their capital, again, use their voice and use their influence in different ways to contribute to the sort of changes that are needed in real time. We don't have 20 or 40 or 50 years to wait to deal with the climate crisis. We have to do it in the next 5 to 10. The people we were talking about who are hungry at the beginning of this call, they're hungry now. They're not hungry 10 years from now. So there's a time sensitivity to action that I think you're seeing an increasing recognition of. To me, that has a lot of possibility in it. We, of course, have to make best use of it, but I do think you're seeing that kind of thing change quite a lot.
I mean, it really needs to. When I think about climate in particular, it is so obvious that the damage and the dangers in the world today have been overwhelmingly caused by the wealthiest countries in the world. And it's not the fault of an India or an Indonesia or Pakistan that they're facing the challenges that they are right now. And yet, these wealthy governments are and the corporations that have done so well inside them just do not seem to take any direct accountability or responsibility for being stewards. For actually, being responsible for the position that we're presently in. And I know this frustrates the United Nations greatly.
Yeah, look, I think there's a lot of collective responsibility to go around because the world's not in an optimal place, and we variously all contributed to that. I think there is a real reckoning of a sort to come as people are increasingly recognizing their contribution to the state of the world that is not particularly healthy. And then the question is, what are you going to do about it? So I do see growing appreciation, increasing candor and self-reflection, frankly, from big institutions, from powerful and influential institutions. Not enough and not fast enough. But I do think that's trending in the right direction because, sometimes that comes from people's own kids who are questioning how, what kind of world are you going to leave us with? These are very deep issues, not just at a professional or institutional level, but very much at a personal one. And I think we need to see that sort of recognition grow, deepen, and then inspire some real changes in behavior.